I already know what you're probably saying. That Charlie already received a buff, she does not need another one. Or maybe if you're one of the few very cultural men that still remember how Charlie was when she was absolutely broken, you're probably scared, and I get it. But I promise that I should not probably make her broken with these buffs. So, with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video, and let's start with two very important changes to her basic attack. Because I have a very specific idea for Charlie, which is also to make her a bit different from Tara, I would say. And I feel like this is the most important part. So to start off, the damage would actually be reduced from 1600 to 1520, which is what she used to have before this buff. But in order to compensate that, her main attack delay will be reduced from half a second to 250 seconds. What I mean by this is that by reducing the delay, that means that you can spam your yo-yo a lot faster at close range. This pretty much means that your DPS at extremely close range would nearly double. But because of the damage reduction, that means that her damage is just slightly less, and that actually also makes her slightly weaker against snipers. And that's where the super change comes into play. And the super would be completely different. It would have one very single nerf that would change all of the interactions. But start off, let's scare you. Let's say the buffs. Start off, the super duration would be increased, yes, from 5 seconds to 8 seconds. The super projectile speed will be increased from 3300 to 3800, which for you to understand, it's the same as Cordelia's super. The only difference being is that your super does not go through walls. And also, the egg HP will be increased from 8400 to 9240, which is a 10% HP increase. Now, before you all human beings with a brain start to freak out, here's where the major rework actually starts to appear, which is now you can actually take the HP of your own egg. What I mean by this is that if you actually get hit by the super, you do no longer solely rely on your teammates to release yourself. Now you can actually use your ammo to destroy the egg. Obviously, because the egg lasts now 8 seconds, this means that, and because the HP is also 9000, for most of the characters this would mean that you would have to sacrifice 3 ammo to break the entire egg, and obviously that would make it very strong. But at the same time, another nerf to the egg. Now you can still reload your ammo while you are inside the egg, which is another pretty important nerf. Because in case you did not know, you actually just simply cannot reload ammo inside the egg, which it is a pretty annoying detail. And obviously because now you can destroy your own egg, that means that obviously getting your ammo back, because you will be stuck there for 8 seconds, you obviously need a way to get out sooner. And if by any chance you're unlucky enough so that you're stuck while you are at 0 ammo, that would literally be game over, because at 8-second stun, I still remember, it is a broken thing to deal with. But because now you can just break your own egg, this would actually make your super a lot weaker against assassins and high DPS enemies, and also tanks, because most of the tanks do deal a lot of damage up close. And another important detail, because I don't want the egg to be completely useless, so all of the attacks cannot pierce through the egg. The only exception being Jackie, because, well, I don't think I need to explain it. But pretty much the egg would work as a whole buster shield in a certain way, where literally nothing can penetrate it. And if you're a thrower, your range would be reduced to literally 0. So that means that you could only damage enemies if they were like literally right next to you. So the main idea is that this new egg focuses more on countering snipers, and Charlie herself with her main attack can counter most of the assassins and the tanks. And if you really need an extra help, then use the gadget, the spider gadget, which obviously would come in handy because, I mean, now you can spam so much more, like you would just obliterate people up close, which used to be one of the really good advantages about Charlie, that because of an old nerf, you just lost that, and honestly I miss that power that she had up close. And yeah, that's pretty much for the major super rework. Now that we already talked about her baseline kit, let's talk about her gadgets and star powers. So to start off, the second gadget will have all of the changes that the super receives. This means that the egg will have more HP, will last longer, and you can destroy your own egg. This would actually make the second gadget so much better. Not only you would have more protection, that protection would last longer, as you could also actually destroy your own egg to release yourself even earlier. And because you can spam your attack at minimum range so fast now, it just makes so much sense. And I didn't even need to actually really buff the second gadget if you think about it. That's just making the second gadget like the super, which it's just already how it works. So I'm pretty happy with this extra, honestly, because I really like the second gadget and people should use it more because it is honestly so creative. Now, speaking of the star powers, the second star power would receive two buffs. To start off, the duration of the puddle of slow would be increased from 5 seconds to 8 seconds, and it will now also release a tiny explosion of puddles right next to where the egg landed. Because in case you didn't know, if you use your super, there are some scenarios where the enemy, after leaving the egg, he actually does not get slowed, which honestly it is a pretty important extra to the star power that I feel it is pretty underwhelming to sometimes not happen. Relying a little bit on luck, it is never a good thing. Next, we're gonna talk about a new mythic gear for her, which I would call it Thick Shell. Now, the egg would have a 25% shield. Attention, this does not increase the duration of the egg, or at least it is not supposed to. It would just make the egg harder to kill, that's all it would really do. And honestly, because now one of the major reasons I did this rework is that you could counter yourself getting egged by Charlie, and obviously this mythic gear would make that a lot harder. Only now I would say that only characters like Bull could actually break off the egg with 3 shots, because the egg would just be so damn tanky. Obviously it would have the health decay, but it would still take a lot longer to get out of the egg, and I feel like that is the purpose of mythic gear, just make a specific thing about a brawler even stronger than what it already is. So I am happy with this mythic gear. It's simple, yet I would say very effective. Finally, we're gonna talk about a new hypercharge, which I just want this very tiny simple fix. Now, the spiders would spawn when the egg breaks, not when the egg spawns, because that is just stupid. Why would I want spiders that literally only last 5 seconds if I already know that the egg only survives for 5 seconds? Doesn't make any sense in my opinion. It is pretty weird. The bonus stats are pretty good, but that is about it. And because now the actual power of the hypercharge would make sense, I would actually increase the number of hits necessary to get the hypercharge from 11 hits to 12 hits, which was actually a secret buff that she received because of the damage increase. So I am pretty sure that these would make Charlie hypercharge just not too annoying to face off against. And there you have it, all of the changes that I would do to Charlie. What are your thoughts, and what changes would you do to Charlie? Write in the comments down below, trust me, I will read them, and I'll see ya on the next video.